So I will just try to explain a little bit that situation that now the application and all official documentation is being applied in a Kurzeme district court. It's in Ventspils, but it is also kind of deliberate ignorance and just avoidance of case review in reality. And there was another ancillary complaint applied, government fee paid. Also, that was sent in two regional courts, the Kurzeme regional and the Riga regional court. Also criminal collegiate with all data and all persons involved and appropriate results in accordance with all existing proof. But I'm sure it's not possible to realize openly because the whole system is working like kind of game or kind of instrument for certain aims, not just for solving separate issues and applications. So the law actually doesn't work in reality, and all pressure is being made just for keeping the power of existing system from controlled by females in the country of residence, and just avoiding of open expression of this situation. No any power is, as I noticed in Ventspils court, they are kind of community connected with the main system, which is controlled by someone from outside, and through the connections, of course, local. Problem is that there is no any power of jurisdiction, so, or it is, but for separate organizations, for separate persons. So kind of choice made by someone who wants to. Unless the kid will not be under my security, and yeah, with the possibility to initiate that court process openly with the third persons involved from the government state police, which are doing deliberate criminal activities without any responsibility. Then there is a possibility to somehow clear existing electronic issues. But if this will continue like it is happening already 2 years, and the son is used for that, including his mother. His mother is kind of a small instrument in realization of that of that crime, actually. they do not appoint legal consequences in accordance with the actions described by national criminal law, and they do not start the legal process in appropriate organizations. So, for instance, the police, if I make application with expression of all situation in details together with all existing proof, with documentation and written decisions and control of these decisions, things like that. They are sending it by the territorial belonging to the present police, where it is actually done. So if I turn to another police station, they do the same, because it's just a system which has a low priority. So, for instance, if something is belonging by the law not to this police station or police territory, they just resend it, and they don't care. What is there, even the murder or anything else, they just don't care. They resend it to that station. If there is violence in that station, it is possibility to concern to internal security bureau, which is making research of the police actions, but they can find out what were the violences, and then make appropriate prosecution process, or just to find out what are the violences. But actual this internal security bureau has an influence only over the police. So what is happening in the courts, if they write some kind of illegal decisions, that cannot be investigated by any organization except prosecution office, which might do that in accordance with the law, but they have their own system, and there is no any effect in reality. So they do something in their own system. They receive this application, they make an official written reply, but it doesn't change anything. It doesn't make any effect on this solution. So what is happening is like using separate statuses or separate organization status for creation of the deliberate pressure. And if these are not followed, they just use their instruments, violating national criminal laws. And there is no possibility to process that violence in reality. So, for instance, higher court is specialized on the appeal procedure. So there should be a court decision of the district court, then it goes to the regional court as an appeal. But if there is a violence in the first instance, there is no organization which might apply strict regulation or strict responsibility in accordance with the law for any of any of violence, because actually if the complaint is being directed to management of the district court, who must appoint kind of responsibility or solution in accordance with description of that complaint, it should be done. But because of the community, for instance, there is kind of like team, let's say, and they're all team players. There is no way that team leader will apply any force or apply any legality over the team player in own team. So the jurisdiction doesn't actually exist if there are players. Most of them they are players. So if you don't want to play, they will just continue pushing and creating these troubles and the artificial pressure. Law is written. I'm not for whom. I'm not sure for whom this is written. Also, the judgments they are just a piece of paper without any official force. So actually, Latvia is controlled by this community, connected between each other with certain levels of management. So courts control executors and police for their own matters, and it doesn't change their attitude towards any of factual criminality in their own below state organization. So if there is violence in below state organization, they cannot review it because they have a special procedure, and that's why it is locked circle. The problem is that every violator is facing on no competence for reviewing such a thing or such an application, such a situation described in details and based by the national legislation, or they are appointing to the higher management that it's not this higher management is not allowing to process or to initiate the actions in reality. So by all connections from top to farther on, they are controlled, and no one is independent. No organization is independent for evaluating of any actions of other organizations. But the thing is that controlled by systematic influence, electronic systematic influence, is in priority over the real life, real documentation, and real court hearing. They just don't appoint it. They use electronic system for kind of kind of game. I call it this way because there is no other name. Since my experience in four applications and four court deals with the court in different areas, in different cities, Ventspils, Riga, and I can assure that each person involved personally understands what is the issue, what are the violences, and what are descriptions in provided proof. But they are not reacting according to this because of someone's will, just to avoid a responsibility. So now I'm waiting for another decision for applied ancillary complaint. However, I noticed that the court secretary today, she said that it will be sent to the regional court and will be overlooked over there. So no any procedural details or order of the process is being followed. It's all kind of mobile management with certain aims without any responsibility. This is it. And the police or the prosecution office, they do not judge separate actions of any person's status. It's all depending on organization. So for instance, if police is under the under court management, they are not capable to evaluate court decisions or court actions. However, each person without any status